Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to 3 stocks on the ASX that release interesting or intriguing Appendix 4Cs for the June quarter 2025. I'm recording this video on the 30th of July, intending to release it sometime in September, and more than likely before these 3 companies release their September quarter results in October. Let's hope I do not release this video after that particular time. Anyway, the 3 companies I'll be featuring in today's video are 3 companies I don't know much about, if anything. Those 3 companies are Income Asset Management, ticker code IAM. We'll also have a look at a company called Hiremii. Instead of the E for me, it has 2 I's. And the third company I'll be looking at has been in the news recently because of a partnership with SoftBank, and that is Icetana. We'll see if this company's financial results for the June quarter is anything to be excited about. Okay, so what I'm going to do in today's video, I'll go through, briefly discuss what these companies do. Then we'll have a look at their Appendix 4C for the June quarter, have a look at the cash receipts history, and then finally have a look at their chart. Let's start off with Income Asset Management. And yes, this is the first time I've ever looked at this company, I think. Now, maybe I've looked at this company briefly in the past, but I don't remember it. Anyway, so this company wants to transform the way you invest for income. Yeah, so if you're an income investor, this company could be for you. So they provide diverse solutions across bonds, cash, debt, capital markets, and treasury management. And to be honest with you, the name is about right. Income Asset Management. Yeah, says it in their name. Okay, so that's what they do. I suppose you could call it a financial solutions company dealing with income, I suppose. So let's have a look at this company's Appendix 4C for the June quarter. And why am I interested about this company? Well, maybe not interested, but why have I included this company in today's video? Now, the first thing I'm just going to say is the company has a market cap of 26 million, so it's a fairly small company. Ordinary shares, about 930 million. We'll have a look at the chart in a second. This company has never popped up on any of my screeners or scanners. So this is probably, the first time or first reason I've ever really gave to have a closer look at this company. And that is one of the benefits for me doing this series. I'm having a closer look at companies I probably wouldn't have had a look at in the past. Anyway, let's have a look at their Appendix 4C. They have released another price-sensitive announcement after that, an update. I had a very quick look at this update, but I was bored very quickly. Very quickly. Some sort of transaction that's beneficial to IAM. Anyway, let's have a look at the Appendix 4C. First thing I always look at is, of course, is the company operating cash flow positive? Are they increasing receipts? But is the company operating cash flow positive? And they were for this quarter. 634,000. Another very interesting thing about this company is if you have a look at the receipts, they actually break it down into 2 categories: receipts from customers, brokerage and fees, and receipts from customers, securities trading. So we can actually see how these 2 divisions are performing. So if you add those receipts up, that's about $5.7 million in receipts for the quarter. And they were operating cash flow positive for the quarter by 634,000. Unfortunately, they did not do so well over the full year, about $17.8 million in receipts and operating cash flow negative by about $4.4 million. So that's probably another reason why I've never really looked at this company, because they haven't given me any reason to, until maybe now. Being operating cash flow positive is, for a quarter, can be a step in the right direction. Now, I want to see this momentum continue into the next few quarters. Another thing I look at is any sort of cash flow outflow or even inflow from investing and financing activities. Non-current assets, 360,000. May not be an ongoing cost because it was much higher in this quarter than the rest of the year. And a little bit of repayment of borrowing, so they must have a little bit of debt. Enough cash on hand, $6.3 million of cash, and any debt, not a lot of debt. In fact, they have $34,000 of debt and $5 million unused financing facility or facilities. And they don't have to answer question 8. Okay, so what can you say? Another thing I like to look at Is any sort of key highlights, not history, highlights. For instance, their first highlight section is operating revenue, 5.4 million, bond loan FUA, funds under admin of $2.4 billion, turnover for the quarter, shift to perpetual corporate trusts. Okay, I'm getting bored already. And they have removed circa 3 million cost out of the 4 million target and is aiming to complete the full cost out in Q1, financial year 26. So that could be another reason why their financials are starting to look a little bit better. 175 5-year mezzanine note for One Rail Australia with IAM as lead manager. Okay, I'm getting bored. Bond and loan trade count quarterly. Ooh, nice increase. And what else do I have here? FUA, custody and non-custody, and bond and loan trading volume. Ooh, boring. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Okay, let's have a look at cash receipts history for IAM. Doesn't look like they've had much history here, but been following this company for about 3.5 years. And I suppose there is a bit of a trend upwards. This was a really good quarter in terms of receipts for the company, however. So massive increase from what you've seen in the last few quarters. And I don't think there's any seasonality. There was a massive spike in receipts back in the December quarter 2022, and then it came back. That was a record quarter, and now they've had another record quarter. Now, take away this particular quarter, and the trend in receipts doesn't look flash hot at all. So hopefully this might be a move in the right direction. Receipts going up, decreasing the cost, that maybe the company can become profitable and generate cash flow in the future. Don't know. So let's have a look at the chart. Is there any reason to be excited by the chart? And I suppose the answer to that question is no. Not yet. So they listed. Oh, they've been around for a while, it looks like. No reason to be overly excited about the chart. Looks like maybe it's found a flaw, but we haven't seen big volume coming in recently. There was a big spikes in volume back in December through to March. That could have been sort of a sign the share price was moving towards a low, because sometimes volume does precede price, but nothing exciting in this particular chart. So I think we can move on. And I think the good way for the share price of this company to move into an uptrend is some more really good quarters. So just one is not enough sometimes. You need a few in a row at least. Now on to Hiremii. Now, if you ask me what Hiremii does, I'd say they hire people. Not me in particular, but not looked at this company in the past. And let's see what they do. Let's have a look at the about section. First, about Hiremii, an AI technology company with two complementary business units, Hiremii Technology and Inverse Group. So what do these business units do? Maybe I'm being a little bit unfair. Because I would assume there was really low, or not assume, there is really low margins in HR or Hiremii or higher type companies. So I just assumed there was really low margins in this without even looking at the company. So let's have a look at the Hiremii technology. Cloud-based applicant tracking system, combination of publicly available generative AI technology and proprietary knowledge. Okay, so AI and Inverse Group provides recruitment expertise to some of the world leaders in traditional. Okay, I'm not interested in that section. I'm interested in Hiremii technology using AI. That other one, recruitment expertise, there's probably really low margins in that sort of business. And it wouldn't be surprising if most of this company's revenue comes from Inverse Group. But if I see really good growth in Hiremii technology, that would be really exciting. Okay, you can have a look at the board of management, but at this point I don't. They look fairly young. Across the board. There you go. Okay, now let's have a look at this company's Appendix 4C for the June quarter. Why am I excited? Not excited, but why am I looking at this company in this video? And obviously, the company must have been operating cash flow positive. Now, when this company did release their Appendix 4C, it was a Thursday, 24th of July. And on that particular day, I did a standalone Appendix 4C videos featuring 5 other companies. Hiremii was very close to getting into that video. Very close, but I do think I have some biases against this company just because what I thought they do. Okay, so why am I looking at this company? Receipts, $8.2 million. And they were operating cash flow positive by $554,000 for the quarter. Now, for the year, $33 million in receipts and operating cash flow negative by the slightest amount. So looks like maybe they have decreased some of their costs And it looks like that's product manufacturing operating costs have come back a little bit in this quarter. So most of this company's spending is product manufacturing operating costs. In fact, the vast majority, even their staff costs, are fairly low. Let's have a look at some other stuff. A little bit of spending in intellectual property. That's probably capitalized research and development, or maybe it's not. They do a little bit of research and development in the section 1. So not a lot of spending in that. Looks like they did have a bit of debt, but they repaid some of that. So less than $1 million of debt with $1.5 million of unused financing facilities. So I suppose that's okay. Let's have a look at the bit of the commentary. Recruitment services business. Okay, revenue 7.5 million, up 4.4%. Yeah. Gross profit, they were gross profitable, up 5.2% quarter on quarter. Positive cash from operating activities, we know that. Cash on hand, which I didn't have a look at, fairly low, below $1 million, with unused working capital funding facilities. We already looked at that. So nothing overly exciting in our highlights section. Okay, so let's have a look at this company's cash receipts history. Is there anything to be really excited about their history? Okay. Get rid of you. Oh, there was until maybe recently. In fact, this company's receipts growth from 2022 through to about a year ago, or just under a year ago, was something I'm looking for. So obviously my biases against this company just precluded me from having a closer look. But I really like to see cash receipts going up at a nice steady rate like we see here. But then all of a sudden they've turned negative over the last year or so. Got to a high of $9 million in September last year, fell away significantly in the March quarter. It has rebounded nicely. So not sure what happens. That could be something you might want to research. Why was there a decrease in receipts? It could be just timing of receipts. So there is different timings and how you recognize receipts versus revenue, something like that. Or there could have been something significantly wrong, maybe not significantly, maybe something slightly wrong with the business back then. So that is something I'd probably like to research a little bit more. Now onto the chart for Hiremii. Seems like I'm desperate. Please hire me, please. Chart not as bad as what we've been looking at earlier with previous company, which was, I've already forgotten. Income asset management. At least the share price of Hiremii is just going sideways. So there's no trend. It's trendless. Not friendless, but trendless. In fact, you see all these moving average crossovers. That's a really good sign. It's trendless. In fact, it's been going sideways for, I would say it's been going sideways for 4 years. 4 years, share price has been going sideways. The market is just wanting something more from the company. So this could be an interesting candidate for breakout if they do release a really good Appendix 4C or even some sort of financial number announcement. Market cap of this company, by the way, is 7.65 million. Fairly small company. So there is potential upside here if the share price does break out on really positive financial news. So Hiremii, small company, but they are or did get to that really good possible inflection point, becoming operating cash flow positive. Okay, final company is Icetana. The only reason I really know about this company is because they did recently announce a partnership with SoftBank. I think it was SoftBank. Maybe 2 months ago. When was it? Oh, the 10th of June. SoftBank partnership. Market loved that. Market. Did the market love that or what? Share price on that particular day rose 87.5%. And not long after that, the share price rose 64% on the 13th and then a further 105% on the 16th. So a lot of positive vibes in this company around that time. But has this translated to positive Appendix 4C? More than likely, any sort of partnership announced recently, you won't see any benefits from that until a few years down the road, maybe. So let's have a look at this company's Appendix 4C. Oh, by the way, what does this company do? I have no idea. Self-learning AI for real-time event detection. Okay. Have a look at their solutions or products. Which one? So products, use cases. I love when companies have use cases. I love that. So safety and security, 24/7 real-time surveillance, license plate recognition, facial recognition analytics, forensic quick find, GPT agents, solutions, remote guarding, hotels, safeguard customers and staff, education, mail management, safe cities. Okay, still don't know exactly what they do, but you sort of got a slight idea. Resources. I think the really good thing about use cases is you can actually see what a company does. What is the use cases? That's the whole point. So maybe I'll have a look at one of those later on. Other than that, I think we can move on. Here we go. SoftBank Robotics launches Icetana AI Smart BX Security. That's probably why they did that partnership with SoftBank. Anyway, so they're in the right space, AI, that sort of thing, but we need to see the company making a bit of traction out there, and that traction would be represented by increasing receipts, revenue, that sort of thing. So let's have a look at the company's most recent Appendix 4C. Is there anything to like about this particular report? Now, they did separate their Appendix 4C into two sections, the Appendix 4C, the real 4C, and the quarterly activities report. Okay, receipts, 1.254 million. Full year, only 1.8 million. Now, I'm wondering if that's 6 months or a full year. Sometimes you don't know. When do they report their half year and full year? I'm just going to go back to February, half year in February. So, first thing that jumps out about that is there was or seems to be a fairly big increase in receipts in this quarter to the rest of the year. So, 9 months previous, $600,000 of receipts. Now, the company's still well away from being operating cash. Well, not that well away. I thought it was going to be a little bit more. Only operating cash flow negative by $135,000. So that's not a lot. Okay, but for the year, operating cash flow negative by $2.6 million. I expected them to be highly operating cash flow positive. That's interesting. So I don't have a lot of staff, not a lot of product manufacturing operating costs. This could be a sort of a lean, clean machine if they can really grow the receipts, high margins, that sort of thing. So grow the receipts, and if they find some operating leverage, this company could be profitable fairly quickly. Maybe. That's just based off one quarter results. What else? Looks like they did a couple raising. In fact, looks like they've done a few couple raisings over the last year. So in the quarter, 1.9 million, for the full year, 5.2 million. How much cash do they have? $3.9 million of cash. So enough for at least the next few quarters. And any debt? I don't like how this is one of the sort of Appendix 4Cs I don't like. You can see there is a line break between or in the middle of section 2 and also in the middle of section 7. I don't like when companies do that. It's just me. Do they have a bit of debt? A little bit of debt, not a lot. Okay. So what we'll also do is just have a look at their activity report just to see what they've mentioned. Focusing on the highlight section. Well, they don't have a highlight. They have a summary. Successful completion of 3.6 million strategic partnership with SoftBank Robotics. Strong quarterly analyzed recurring revenue growth, so 1.9 million as at June 2024, up 10% quarter on quarter. AR retention of 100%, revenue 490,000. So you can see a bit of a difference between revenue and receipts, just timing. So maybe these receipts for this quarter were a little bit elevated than what you might usually expect. So don't get too excited, maybe just yet. Can I have a look at ARR? And it's not increasing all that quickly. But maybe this SoftBank partnership will transform the company. Not into a transformer, but maybe we can get some transformers out of this particular robotics partnership. Okay, now on to this receipts history for Icetana. Ice Baby. I'm sorry. Who did that? Who sang that? Ice Baby. Vanilla Ice. That's it. Okay, this is the receipts history. First thing that really, what's the word? That really strikes me is lumpiness. This company can have a really good quarter and then some really bad quarters. So the last 3 quarters were quite low in receipts. So what we want to see for Icetana is a smoothing out of the lumpiness and increasing of the peaks in the cash receipts, which we have sort of seen. If you have a look at the last 5 years since they listed, the peaks have been higher. Well, maybe not the last few. But definitely, if you take away, yeah, I can't say there's not any significant trend in receipts just yet for Icetana. So for me, this is more of a wait and see, even though they have released that really good announcement with SoftBank. So let's have a look at the chart for Icetana. Now, this chart, you'll see this chart just taking off like crazy with that announcement of SoftBank. Just went bananas. And this company has another good announcement. We're seeing volume really dry off. And if we don't see any significant announcement, you'll see the share price just drifting lower. So at this point in time, I'm not interested in this chart. And the main reason is just because the lack of financials just yet. By the way, this company has a market cap, looks like about $40 million. So yeah, 40.42 million. So it's not that low, but they're in the right space. This company could be massively bigger in 5-10 years' time, but it might take a while. Maybe 10 years instead of a few years. Now, the 1-year return is 181,000. So this company was much smaller, just sort of been like 14 million 1 year ago. Okay, that's all I have for this particular video. Look at 3 interesting announcements, Appendix 4Cs that were released for the June quarter. Income Asset Management, Hiremii, it's not a request, and Icetana, nothing to do with Vanilla Ice. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for the video. Have a good day. Bye.